We're gonna let it run for like 5-10 seconds, and then I'll point to you when the mic comes up.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're looking live at the Calamity Jones Hour. I'm Mandy Jones, and this is my husband.
Glenn, how are you doing?
We are here. This is our second episode. We are going to be coming to you live every Friday from 8 to 9 with very interesting guests. Tonight, we have my loyal co-host and her other half. I won't say better half because it's just her other half, Miss Bonnie Scalisi. Glenn, if you can pan in on this other beautiful couple that we're sharing date night with tonight. Bonnie and Michael. Bonnie and I do a podcast every Wednesday called Three's Company Radio Show. You should be a member of the group on my page, Three's Company Radio Show -2, to stay in the loop and the conversation.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Bill Hansen, already tuning in. This is date night with Mandy, Bonnie, Glen, and Michael.
Yes.
So we are entertaining. Glen actually put this together tonight. Oh, and so Glen's gonna take the reins a little bit.
Well, yeah. Well, so we made a couple little like segments and stuff that we'll get to. Right now we're just introduction. Like, check out our new logo. I'll pull it up bigger again,
It's really cool.
Just to swag a little bit. This is
Zach Decker.
My buddy Zach Decker.
I love it.
Tattoo artist.
And guys, please follow, share this page right now, because when you share a live video, all your friends can join the conversation. This is an interactive podcast. Hey, Ed. Ed, welcome. You're at date night.
Hi, Bill.
With Bonnie,
Hi, Ed.
Mandy, Glen, and Michael. All right, Bonnie, so I just shared it for you.
Thank you, because I still don't know what I'm doing.
And now if you look, you should
Joan Kupriasha, how are you?
Joan, hello.
And Lou Pratt, how are you?
I hope everyone's having a nice Friday. Like you said, this is, like we were saying, this is second episode of the Calamity Jones Hour. Well, we're coming in on, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, so
I
we
gotcha.
can see ourselves live.
Gotcha. I see what Glen's doing.
No, did I share it to my page? Or?
Yeah, you're on there.
Thank you.
We're good.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, and that reminds me. I got one other person to share with. All right. So, first of all, I want to thank Taz, the residential artist. She did the flyer for tonight's date
I loved
night.
it.
She's done all the art for Bonnie and I's podcast, Three's Company Radio Show, and she never fails. I told her I need the four of us as pirates, and she knows us, so I didn't even need to submit pictures.
And I love the way she drew me. I wish I looked that
Bonnie
good.
Had her leg up all over Michael. I had my hand all over Glenn's sexy, hairy chest.
You forgot the other thing that we said that we wanted.
I did want a parrot. I did want a parrot in there.
I think she had a parrot in there.
She did. It was like on my head.
She's amazing.
So Taz, the residential artist, she does do custom artwork. If you find her on my Instagram page, you go calamity.jones. You can find her Instagram. You message her pictures of your family. We were talking about how you can get a portrait and then send the family pets too to get them drawn in the portrait, which is a really cool idea.
Anything you want, like
she does a live show too.
Oh yeah, she does it live. It's really cool.
I just saw that the other day. I was blown away. I just happened to tune in, and I always saw all this great artwork. I'm picturing she's got this whole big setup and stuff. She was there with a 10-cent Bic pen.
Yeah.
And she creates magic with that Bic pen.
And literally creates magic. It's a 10-cent Bic pen, the cheapest Bic pen you could buy, and she does that magic with. I mean, I guess that's the difference between artists and people like me.
A medium that everybody has and can appreciate.
And Robin DeVito is tuning in, and she said, "Look at my favorite foursome. We love you, Robin."
Robin, can't wait to see you on the 29th. Oh, guys, the 29th of August, we are having a free radio. We have free comedy show. All you have to do, it's a free comedy show and it's open bar. Bonnie and I are on the card. Billy Geyer, Andy Plagianos. Oh my God, it's going to be so many good comics. You got to come, but you just have to direct message me and tell me you want to come. It's in Wisconsin. That's Suffolk County, New York. And you get added to the guest list and you get the address and you are in, my friend. Seats are limited, so you got to make a reservation.
Yeah, let us know.
And hi, Arnie Price. Arnie Price is
shameless plug.
Is coming in. Also, Joan Kupriasha is saying at her kitchen table and clipboard, she's amazing. And Bill is saying Taz is very talented. Yes, she is.
She brings a lot of joy. Taz, the residential artist. All right, baby. So what else do you want to start? Let's get into it.
So me and Mandy, I guess it's kind of like a trick I played on her the first time. I messaged, so we had ran into people at the supermarket that recognized her from a governor show, and we were impressed that like someone actually, they were staring at us and we were like, like, how you doing? And they were like, did you perform? And so we were like,
yeah, and I'm like, thank you. Even though they didn't say that you did a good job, they just said, did you do a comedy show? And I'm like, thank you. But it was nice.
Mandy was very flattered, but following, I texted her that I ran into her biggest fan and that they wanted to take a picture with me.
And guess who I said? I'm thinking, did you see Bruno? Like, did you run into, I'm thinking,
So Glenn ran into your biggest fan.
Yes.
And
then he sends a picture.
All right.
So we're going to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's the biggest fan. It's about a 4-foot diameter box fan.
Whoa!
So Glenn.
That's funny.
This became a cute little thing that he does at work.
Every time I see a big fan,
I
take a picture with it because it's
and the fan keeps getting bigger and bigger.
This one, medium-sized fan, and I have a couple
of many fans.
Yeah.
And I got one more. This was actually today.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a mask because it's coronavirus.
That was today. He sent me and I was like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we.
My friend Hong is watching. That's one of my teacher friends. Hi, Hong. How are you?
Welcome.
Oh, she lives in Syosset, and she is the most amazing gardener. Like we were talking about how we want to have an eclectic group and have all different types of things. Her gardening skills and her she grows all kinds of different flowers and. She's kind of shy, but maybe I could pull her arm.
I would love that because I started a garden. I love it.
Oh, she has a green thumb. That's what you call it, right?
Yes.
She has a green thumb.
And that hydroponic stuff that she does is amazing.
But what we're looking to include soon too is we're going to be doing like video clips.
Ooh.
Of people that don't necessarily want to go live or have a skill. Our idea is to cook. And then have a meal, but show, okay, this is us making the lasagna. That was the example of we did during.
I love that episode.
Right?
Yeah, it got very good reviews, and that's why we want to film it from like a couple camera angles and be able to sit and eat with, let's say, you guys, and we have dinner.
As long as you cook it. Remember, I'm a Jew. I just pay. In a restaurant for them to cook it.
We cook it and we have clips of cooking it.
But you don't have
within the episode.
Deal with us cooking it. It'll be pre-recorded and we'll bounce back and forth. And
even nicer.
Eat the meal because it is really hectic. So we just have our wheels turning about all the different things we're going to do on this show. The show's going to change every single. I'm sorry. I'm loud enough, but I'm not even mic'd up. Sorry, guys. I was running around. Lost my train of thought. No, we're going to have different things every single episode.
Yeah,
horticulturists. We're going to have people that cast spells. We're going to have people that, I don't know, priests, anybody out there that wants to be part of this crazy
Psychics.
Train. Yeah, I know. I actually know
too.
that I have one in mind that I have to reach out
to.
That'd
be fun. You'd have to have an interesting guest to go with the psychic. Maybe
someone
very skeptic or something like that, like someone that like doesn't believe in it at all. Maybe
that's
freak
me,
a skeptic out. So, I think that would be fun.
Yeah. So I have some like date night questions for you guys.
Okay, cool.
My mom might be watching this show.
No, but like getting to know you guys like on a date level.
Well, we have already gone out a bunch of times, But
let's pretend.
This is the first time.
Let's suspend disbelief.
Yeah, this is the first time we've done it on the air. Live on the air.
Okay, so I'm interested. I think Bonnie's
love you
heard
too,
me.
Robin.
I think Bonnie's heard me ask this question, and I'm gonna present it to Michael.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so there's a bit of a setup. So they say that when a person walks in a room and there's a real snake in a cage or a tank, and there's a snake on a poster, that you naturally go to the one that's more fearful and more realistic, which is the snake, the actual snake. The one that incites more fear. So as humans, we're always drawn to fear because we're primal beings.
We like fear.
Well, we just default to it.
It draws our attention.
We default
Remember, my mom may be watching this, so let's not talk about my snake. Okay?
We're not getting too crazy.
Hey, Nancy Beans. How
We're
are
not
you?
getting too crazy. So I want to know, like, how you deal with what drives you and the managing the fear when you walk into the room and there's a snake, a real snake in a poster. And
Boy, these questions are really difficult.
In terms of the metaphor of the snake and what it incites in you. You know what I mean? Like, because the default is...
Look at his face.
The default is you're a primate and you have to deal with the situation at hand, but then you're like a very person that's very calculated and you take a step back. So how do you do that?
Well, if it's in the cage, the snake in the cage is in a cage. The one that's a poster isn't real. The one that would make me nervous is the one that was around someone's neck and they were going around the room with. Then I would be backing up from it.
Now, but now let's apply this to larger than life. That you're not your brain kind of always goes to the negative and the worst of case scenario because
he always
survival
says to me,
mode is.
He always says to me, "Don't borrow trouble," and like I'll be like, "Oh, but this person said this, blah 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 blah." And then he goes, "Bonnie, don't borrow trouble." You know, so that's his mantra to me. He's the calm one.
I want to hear
extrapolate.
Explain in your words what you mean by that.
Don't borrow trouble. There's actually a very old joke that describes borrowing trouble. And the name of the book that it's in, it's an old book. It's out of print. It's called The 10 Dumbest Mistakes Smart People Make. I forget who the author is, and it's a great book. And basically, borrowing trouble, it's a story where two neighbors, they're best friends, been friends for 20 years. And one day the guy's mowing his lawn, and his mower dies right in the middle, so half the grass is cut, and he realizes, I'm screwed here. It's a Sunday, all the stores are closed, he can't buy another mower. He says, you know what, my best friend lives across the street. I'm going to borrow his lawnmower. He'll loan it to me. After all, he starts walking over. After all, when his mower broke, I lent him mine for a whole month. I would help him out with everything he needs, his kids, this and that. And as he's getting closer to the house, he thinks, wow, what if he doesn't loan me the lawnmower? That bastard. Yeah. You know, after all I've done for him, he's not going to loan me my mower. Here, he's looking that my lawn is half cut. By the time he gets up to the doorbell, he's worked himself so much, he rings the doorbell. His best friend answers, hey, what's up? He punches him in the nose and says, keep your frickin' lawnmower. That's the classic example of borrowing trouble.
Okay. All right.
And that's right out of that book, by the way. And I heard the joke long before I read the book.
Okay.
So it's...
Okay.
Oh, Ed is saying, Michael, by the way, I always said that Ed and Michael have a lot of qualities in common.
They both love you.
He's giving you a compliment. So in essence, he's giving himself a compliment. He said, Michael Steven Spielberg seems like a calm and insightful guy. I like him more all the time.
Thank you,
is.
Yes.
He doesn't deal with the bullshit. He's the third party looking in, seeing it very calmly through a third person's eyes. So I trust what he says, and almost 95% of the time he's right, and the 5% that I'm just too irrational to listen to him, he's still right. So I just have to trust in what he says more. And I more and more, as we get to know each other on the 9-month mark, the more I get to know him, the more I know he knows what he's talking about. He's really, really one of the most intelligent people that I've ever met, and I love that he has nothing to do with the comedy world, so he could see it in a different way.
Right.
He sees it in an impartial third party way.
Right.
And I know when he gives me advice, I should really follow it, even though my emotions are just like,
right.
And he has taken a lot of abuse from me recently over some certain things, and I've made it up to him, hopefully.
You're working on it.
But he's always right. He's always right so far. He's always been right about every calculated thing that he said is going to happen or will happen or won't happen or you're borrowing trouble. He was right about every single thing because he's the third party without emotions looking down and seeing what's happening.
I've been through it.
He's been through it in the work end.
Right.
And
yeah. Because you could talk about that.
Well, it's well, basically, even
I'm giving him permission.
Thank you. May I speak now, Mr.
No.
Okay,
It's
I'll
usually
be
the
quiet.
other way. By the way, I'm just going to say that the other night when he dropped me off, what happened with the underwear?
You guys always bring up that Michael's mom's watching, and then let's say the
All right.
dirtiest thing we
Mom,
think of.
tune out for the next
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Michael's mom, tune out. Tune out.
All right.
You tell it.
Well, I had forgotten something in Bonnie's car.
Very important in my car. He dropped me off, and I had turned my phone off, and he was trying to get me to answer the phone. So finally, I look at the phone, and I see he's been calling me. So I was already had dressed for bed. I just wear a t-shirt and underwear to bed, and he needed this thing out of my car, and he was outside my house.
And she said, I have to get dressed first. I'm like, no, you don't. And she came out.
It was
really
late.
Cute, long shirt. Just she looked adorable.
Wait, there's more.
Well, go ahead.
So go ahead.
So I said, and she came to the car. I said, "You look adorable." And I said, "You wearing underwear?" And she said, "Yes." So I said, "Give them to me."
So in the middle of the street, and my house has a camera where everything is being recorded because I'm going through a divorce still.
Oh my Lord!
I took them off and gave him the underwear.
Old
that's
verbs. I love it.
Well,
no,
I knew
I
she'd
love
have to
it.
come back to my house to retrieve them.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's collateral.
And that just happened the other night.
Yes, and what's
Jim Rhea, Jim, how are you?
What's fun to do? Bonnie's actually very shy.
I am. I need a lot of drinks to get going.
And she was sober at this time.
Yes, I was completely sober.
To get her to do something like that,
way more fun.
Was way more fun.
Jim wants to know, did they make it live in the car? Actually, when I first met Michael, he had a van.
I still have a van.
He still has a van. Okay, it's one of his cars, and we did some stuff in the van before. He would tell me where he lived, and he wouldn't tell me where he lived. And I thought, because the guy I dated before him turned out to be homeless. And I thought that he was either married or homeless. And so we went out a couple of times in the van. We did a few things in the van, not a lot. But I said,
in the van.
I basically gave him an ultimatum, and I said, if you don't show me your house, I'm breaking up with you because I don't believe that you live anywhere except this van. Because why wouldn't you take me back to your house? Either you're married,
something's up.
And the last boyfriend I had, basically was homeless, and
I was up against some stiff competition.
And you know what? I didn't even care that the guy was homeless.
As I said, I was up against some stiff competition there.
But the guy was using me. He wanted to move in with me and live with me because he didn't have a home.
Yeah.
And I remember he said to me, "I'll do the cooking." I'm not talking about Michael. I'm talking about the guy I dated before Michael. "I'll do the cooking. I'll make rice." And I go, "Well, I don't like rice." And he goes, "You'll learn to like it." And then I was like, that's it. And I broke up with him. This was on, the many, many, many dates. But this guy lasted past the first bunch of dates. He had potential. He was good looking.
Homeless, minor problem.
Bonnie's willing to look past
Some
certain
people are
things.
so actively homeless.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It's very true.
So it was like a red flag when Michael would refuse to take me back to his house. I'm like, you either take me back to your house or we're done.
I've been single for many years.
Not many years, 4 years.
Well,
that's a long time.
So and
Desnick Jones is another one of my 173 family friends. She's the security guard. She's obviously retired now, and she's amazing. I love you.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in. And Robin's saying, I hope you kids brought protection. We're too old. We don't need protection anymore. So that's one of the things we could check off the list.
Does it work like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, no.
Oh, God.
I have a friend's parents that it was it was kind of like a surprise.
How old?
I don't know exactly. He was like a junior, senior in high school, and his brother was like 25.
I don't get it.
No, I'm saying.
I'm talking about we're so
But I'm saying
mature that we would not. There would not be a pregnancy. Are we not communicating?
No, I'm
No,
saying
you're
I'm
good,
saying
you're
their
good.
kids were. So the
the
kids
kids were
a junior in high school, and his brother
so
was
their
like 25.
parents were the ones that had the
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah, there was
Do
a
you know
big gap in their kids.
Do you know how old their parents were?
I don't truly know. I'm not even going to comment.
He's speculating.
I'm pretty sure my boys I don't have any swimmers left. I'll just leave it at that.
And I don't have any eggs left, so we're all good.
And
Jim,
it's funny.
Jim Ray is saying STDs in adults over 50 is on the rise. Do you know? Jim is right. Jim is right about a lot of things. The old age homes before COVID were like college dorms, but now they're locked like prisoners in their. Danielle Lieberman is one of my friends, and she works in a nursing home, and she's talking about like they're locked like prisoners in their. It's so sad, but they used to hump like bunnies before that happened, and there was a lot of STDs in the older population.
It's actually an epidemic.
Bruno is tuning in. Hi, Bruno. How are you?
Then they didn't have protection back in their day. They kind of were more like free with it,
right? And they realized, well, now I can't get pregnant, and now you have
in
the old age homes you actually have an STD epidemic. And truthfully, this is probably this is the public service announcement. Bonnie and I, before we got to that point...
he forced me to take an STD test.
But I
because
said...
highly recommended
because of bad
the smart way
sexual
to be
activity.
Is if you're going to have one partner, you might as well just both get the test.
Right.
And then
we both dodged a fucking bullet, man.
Yep.
Because I was with a very high-risk person. He thought he had
exposed.
Something from some person he was with, and thank God we both tested negative,
good.
And we had like a second lease on life.
Yeah.
And we both will not take it for granted.
They say that every time you have a new partner that you're supposed to get tested.
Absolutely.
That's the clinical.
Absolutely.
And you know what's even more scary about that is technically. You're supposed to be tested 6 months after because of incubation periods. So
I didn't even think of that.
And
it could be dormant in your system, and stress brings it on.
But
that's one of them.
Herpes.
Herpes.
So based on that, and then in our demographic, us being older than you, again, when you're with someone new, it's like it's an exponential curve as to all the people you've possibly been with. In our age group, the likelihood of catching something.
We've been through a lot of. I was in a marriage, so I wasn't with a lot of people.
I wasn't with a lot of people either.
He was married for 30 years.
But it doesn't take a lot of people.
It only takes one.
It only takes one wrong turn. One wrong turn. But I just want to say something to Bruno. He said, check out the retirement in Florida called The Villages. Because Bruno, that is so freaking funny that you bring that up. Because my cousin, Susan, who was married 6 times, retired to that place. And she's with her final husband. Hopefully it's the final husband. She had 6 weddings. And it was like after the 4th wedding, I think she had more weddings than Elizabeth Taylor. But she lives there. And like the beauty of that place was all of the stuff that came with it. They have she had this beautiful home in Florida that was huge. It was like a mansion. But she wasn't happy because it was off to the side and there wasn't a lot to do. So she sold it and moved to the Villages. And it's much like everybody's going on social, they go on boat trips and they go to see, they go to restaurants together. Like it's very social. And she's so much happy there in a much smaller apartment type of condo thing than she was in her huge dream house in Florida.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that Bruno brought it up because that's exactly right. So and Jim saying many STDs are asymptomatic and show no signs that something is wrong. Thanks for the Thanks for the vote of confidence, Jim.
Well, she turned out, and here's another thing, people, in the PSA. If make sure you see their lab results. I insisted.
Oh yeah, I had to show
'Cause they
him
could lie about
my
it.
paper
Well, someone-
printed lab results.
Someone who's predisposed to saying, "Well, yeah, I got tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine."
Update the little note there, the date there,
Yep.
and rescan it, and
Yep.
you're in.
So I wanted to see original documents.
Well, what's funny
Absolutely.
is my friend has a vasectomy, and I knew he wanted a vasectomy, and he got it for his 30th birthday for himself. And I said,
I want something different for my birthday. I just want to go on
but
record.
I said to him, I said, "Oh, do you have a certificate now?" You know, because I know he's on the dating scene, and he goes, "Well, no, I have to get tested a couple more times," because he goes, "There could be a couple that are like swimming in circles right now." And I was like, "Oh, those are the ones you definitely don't want born. Like the ones that like they were like evacuate, get the fuck out," and they were like, "Nah, we're gonna just wait it out. Like we're just gonna chill." Like
They're the rats on the
like
ship who got
like
off
the
first.
fucking those guys should definitely not be born. So
Now,
yeah.
if you're married and you get a vasectomy, it's mandatory that
You don't have a vasectomy.
I don't.
Okay, I was
Um,
I mean, we've only been together 9 months. There's some certain conversations we haven't
up.
even had yet.
Well, that's why this is date
I don't
night.
care if he has a vasectomy because I don't want any more kids ever. So I'm done with kids. But go ahead.
but
No,
you were-
I'm sorry.
you get the
I interrupt him a
What?
lot.
once you get the okay for you married guys, once you get the okay to have sex again, make sure you tell your wife that you have to have sex every day for 6 months just to make sure that it took properly.
Well,
but that makes sense though. It's like make sure that like
Make sure the stream stays open and nothing
Absolutely.
closes like a
And
piercing.
like
you
you
don't want to
said,
just
nothing-
take it
yeah,
out
nothing-
And 6 months is the minimum. It may actually play it safe. You might want to do it for the whole year.
yeah,
and to
doctor's
keep your-
orders.
It seems like also to like keep your virility, like in
Absolutely.
a certain
Yeah,
way,
I
like, it
mean,
keeps
yeah,
keeps
yeah.
your juice,
Everything is
juices
still
flowing.
working.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah. I
'Cause
want to
you're no
make sure
longer
those
getting
testes are
the natural hormones. So like, all right.
Yeah, they ain't a lick of truth to any of it, but you tell the woman that anyway.
No, but I
Billy
think I
Hansen is
where
saying
you're at.
smart, Michael. Michael's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He really is. And he has a calmness to him. But he also has this other side, which is a very scary side, which draws me to him because I'm drawn to very powerful, dominant people. So he has that side to him. And, you know, I went through a lot of different dates when I was dating and I didn't want to go past the first date if I didn't feel a spark. So to
Right.
get to like the second or a third date with me was tough. Because if I didn't feel it,
I
I
have no
didn't
It
want
problem
was
with
like,
it.
here's the ring on fire, jump through it.
yeah, I didn't want to hurt anybody. I hate hurting people. So I was like, if I don't feel that spark at
Yeah,
all,
right.
I'm
I'm
just
out.
gonna go to the next one. And I was
Right.
like a serial dater. I was just dating. And then when I met Michael, there was just something about him that was comfortable. And he honestly, I hate to say it, but he has some qualities of my ex that I'm divorcing, which is a little scary, but I'm drawn to that.
But
It's-
But
that's part
not
of
all
the
bad.
But he
that's
has
part
a
just,
lot of
like,
better
how it is.
qualities
But
that
it's an
my ex
it's an
didn't show.
adaptation. Like you
Yeah.
you
It's
take
an
the parts
upgrade.
you
It's what
Certain-
you're,
parts
it's
parts
what you're
you like.
comfortable with.
Parts it's
Ah.
2.0. It's parts you like,
Mhm.
but you got rid of the negative parts. Like,
right. He's much more caring, and he does all kinds of. My ex was not, but there's certain things that I'm like, that's what my ex does. That's exactly what my ex does, and I'm very much similar to his ex.
Right.
Very much similar,
Well,
which is almost like it's the same. You're playing the same game, different people.
You would have.
Oh, Melanie Bigman. She's another one of my PS1 to 73 friends from when I was a teacher. How are you, Melanie? She just had a granddaughter, right, Melanie? Granddaughter. I'm so happy for her. And she's been retired, not that, maybe 3.5 years. No, I think 3 years. So God bless you and your granddaughter. And because of COVID, we haven't gotten together, but she's another awesome person.
Nice.
So hi, Melanie.
Joan asked how we met. I always say a cooking show, a cooking
Class.
but Bonnie tells the real way we met.
I always do. Bruno goes, Bonnie, Michael dominates you and you love it. I have to say, that's true. I love that he's very, he's going to tell me what to do. And when I'm upset, I will fight him. I will fight him. It's only happened recently, over something that happened recently. But I know he has my best interest. So I'm starting to understand that more and more because my trust of people has been jostled a lot lately, and I basically don't want to lump him in with other people who have not, I've given my love and my trust to, and they've screwed me, and I'm trying to get past that. I have a therapist, and I'm doing the best I can. We're all creatures who are growing, and and I want to be more, honestly, Mandy, I want to be more like you.
Well,
I think that you are the best version of a person because you're forgiving. You are.
Don't make me cry, you asshole.
I'm not going to make you cry, but you talk sense just like Michael do. Blah. Just like
School
Michael.
teacher.
Yeah.
Just like Michael does, and letting anger go is really for yourself,
right?
Not for the other person.
Right.
The other person doesn't give a shit about whatever happened and will never give a shit about it. But you have to let it go for yourself.
Right.
Because holding on to a grudge is just hurting yourself.
Right.
So through a lot of really bitter, angry, crying bouts that Michael was the brunt of, you were the brunt of, I think I finally gotten to that place where I get it.
Right.
It's only hurting me.
Right.
It's only hurting me.
Right.
And I just want to be positive. I don't like to fight with people. I don't want to have the bullshit. They want to say negative things and talk about me or whatever. I just want to take the high road and be happy. I got into comedy because I loved watching comedians. I loved laughing. And it's turned into something completely different. And I'm ready for it to go back to the original reason why I got into it in the first place.
Well,
yes.
And it took a lot of shit to get me there. But bless you, Glenn.
Bless you.
But I think I'm
you.
finally there.
I'm going to paraphrase something, and I'm going to cite, I think it was Confucius. I could be wrong, and I don't have the exact expression, but basically it says, holding on to anger is like trying to hold on to a hot coal to throw at someone else.
Right.
The only person who's going to get burnt is you, basically.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, like, I keep saying, like, I'm ready to let it go, and then it would flare up, and I would bury it, and I thought I had it under control. I have a therapist, and then it would flare up. But I think I finally have gotten it because I'm happy now with Michael.
Well,
I have
having someone to bounce stuff off of. If for anybody, I don't care how, to trust somebody and to be able to truly bounce something off of them.
Yes.
And then give you an honest response is what has kept me and Mandy together for as long as we have, because I need that.
You guys
I need that reflection.
I
need that
couple.
Reflection of myself.
A true friend tells you when you're being an asshole.
Oh, and he has.
I'm an asshole.
And he
has.
Michael will tell me, you did the wrong thing by doing this. You shouldn't have went on the air and done this, and at the time I was just like I wasn't in a listening mode. But now I just want to go back to the reason I went into comedy in the first place was to have fun. I don't need the money. I really don't give a shit about the money. I never did it for any reason except I loved watching the other comics get up there and enjoy myself and was more of a viewer than a person in the spotlight. And I want to get back to that. I can say this tonight. I had a great time at Coasters, and it was like just last week. It was like back to where it was. I had a great time. And that's what it's about. It's for me. I mean, for other people have other reasons of being in comedy. I'm in comedy to have fun. If it's not going to be fun, I don't want to do it anymore. I really don't need to do it anymore. I was drawn to comedy, honestly, because I was in a marriage that I was not happy. I felt lonely, and I was reaching out for something. And then I became friends with all these comedy people, and that's why I did my open mic, and I had fun at the open mics and friendships, and I just want to get back to that. I don't really give a crap about anything else, and that's where I'm going. I'm not going to hold on to the negative energy. Let the people who are negative do their thing. I'm letting all my negativity leave, and I'm an open, clean slate, and I'm just ready like a balloon, ready to rise up.
I love it.
But
I
that's
love
what
it.
it is, though. Is negativity when you're thinking about how mad someone made you,
Hmm.
or you know,
Or how they
talking
hurt
about
you. It
someone
doesn't
else, you're
help
not
anything.
making creative thoughts of your own personal matter.
Yes.
They're
They're
stifling
holding
you,
you down as opposed to allowing you to rise
and they're
above.
holding themselves down too. We also have to recognize is that is my whole thing is let them stifle themselves with hatred. You can come and sit at my table and there's certain people that I burn, but like especially around creativity, come sit at my table, let's talk about it. Shit, let's broadcast it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
this only bring nothing but up from here, and like Bonnie said, like a balloon. Like,
And a lot of times, it's when someone has an opposite set of opinions to you. When you can talk about it, at least I listen to NPR radio. I don't think you could get any more liberal than NPR radio. And as a gun owner, and that's like this anti-gun whenever they bring anything up. But I listen to it. I cringe at some of this stuff, but I want to know their opinion, what they think. A lot of times it's just total lack of knowledge that these people have, and it is funny, but listen to the other side, listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
And that's how you'll be more
A
enlightened.
dialogue. Keep an open dialogue.
well, that's
You don't have to agree with
know
people.
their spin.
Right.
Know their
What's
spin.
your spin?
I like NPR because I kind of know they have that liberal edge,
Right.
and I really like some of their storytelling stuff.
Well,
like
Moth Radio, we'll give them a free plug. I
Right.
love Moth
Right.
Radio. When I'm out in Pennsylvania on my own, a lot of times I'll listen to the podcasts and just go through a series of them. Again, just because I typically would be at odds politically with the majority of your typical NPR types doesn't mean that. And the funny thing is, my brother's the same way. He lives 100 miles away. We were talking, oh yeah, we both listen to NPR.
Yeah.
We want to hear what they have to say. And again, it makes you a more enlightened person. And if you have to argue with them and rip them a new one, you just know what their crap is up front, and you can have some good digs.
Well, my favorite part is some of the people that I disagree with the most, I can find agreements in certain things on. And like really heavily on certain things.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's the craziest part about it.
Sometimes your biggest enemy, like there's somebody that I really despise right now, and I watched something that they did, and I was like, I agree with him on that, and he's really right about that.
I know, when I actually heard it out of Bonnie's mouth, that was actually a decent show. I said, wow.
I give credit where credit is due, and even though I hate this person with a passion, I was like, he hit it on the head with that one. But it was a very negative spin about it, but it's something that I actually agree with him on.
Right.
So I said to Mandy, that was freaking, he hit it out of the park with that one. But I don't want to be part of the negativity anymore. I just want to do what I got into this to have fun. I got into this to enjoy comedy, and I love that you are trying to bring people together instead of separating people. It's almost like what's going on in politics. Stop separating people.
Right.
We're all in this because honestly, comics have some kind of deficit in their life. Either they're lonely or something's going on, and they want to. How much time we have left?
20 minutes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have time.
Yeah.
All right. And we get on stage and we bare our souls for therapy, and because we want to make people. I do it because I want to make people laugh. Other people do it because they want to rub their face in it.
Right.
But I want to do it because I want to make someone's life better.
Right.
And so that's what I want to get back to.
Yes.
And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, that's what we're all about. And like just a little anecdote on just kind of a bigger thing of what you were saying for people who aren't comics and aren't.
Which, by the way, I'm not a comic, but I too get a great deal of pleasure out of making people laugh. And usually when we were on break, there was people who wouldn't take a break with me because I got certain sick pleasure out of having them squirt coffee out their nose or something. That's just me. So I do understand what comedians, that thrill of making someone laugh, or when you make someone laugh so hard that they beg you to stop because their ribs hurt. There is a certain sick pleasure in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Nancy Weems is saying, make love, not war. I love that.
Yeah, no,
I
of
love
course.
it. You know what? I just want to be left alone. I just want to do my thing. I want to go on in peace. And I love Mandy. I love Mike. I love Glenn. And we're just going to go on into a positive way. We're not going to take anybody down or put anybody down, because that's disgusting. I just think that anybody who has to tear someone down, that's sad. You know, we're going like the balloon going up, and you could come with us or you could be left behind and tear each other down. And that's how we're going to roll.
Yeah, and what I was saying is a really classic example of Glenn and I are both people who suffer from road rage, where you get aggressive in the car, and it got to a point where I had to reason with him and say, the person in the other car doesn't hear you. It's just negativity bouncing around this car, and I'm a human being absorbing it. Even though you're cursing out them, I'm emotionally absorbing it. And that's something that's like, when he heard it like that, like the 4th time or 45th time or 400th time, like then
there was a quote too that really, you can't let people make you mad. Because when you let people make you mad, they control you.
Yes.
Right.
So it's like, if I let you control my emotions, then I'm no longer controlling my emotions. And there's nothing better. A smart man related with me about someone's making you angry. Put your hands in your pockets and start talking as quietly as you possibly can. It's the least threatening thing you can do, and it throws people off. And you very politely fucking tell someone to go fuck themselves. It very much, it works better than yelling at them, because then no one can be like, look at how aggressive he was, or look at this. They see, well, he had his hands in his pockets and was whispering to the person.
Yeah.
I had an experience. It was many years ago. It was on New Year's Day. And I was going to the bagel store, and a car nearly hit me in the parking lot because the sun was rising. He had the sun in his eyes, and I was nothing, and jumped out of the way, and I started screaming at him and going at it, and he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you," and I was, I don't believe in getting physical, and here I'm picturing pulling him out of the window at the moment, and then I realized he didn't see me. It was an accident.
Yeah.
And I said, I get it, and I said, it's New Year's Day. It's a morning. I'm going to get a bagel. Have a good year.
Yeah.
We shook hands. We walked in, and everyone in the bagel store is pressed against the
glass.
Ready
for a fist fight.
I nearly got you. What happened? This and that.
Yeah. Ready to be witnesses.
I shook his hand and said, you know what? Because it was an accident.
Yeah.
He didn't get up that morning and say, I'm going to try to run some guy buying a bagel.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But your, that first instinct, the adrenaline, your emotions, and fortunately, in that case, I was able to calm myself down enough to say, all right, what good happened here is that I did not get run over by this car.
Right, exactly. Let's deal with the biggest issue.
Right. I'm fine. I didn't get hurt. No one got hurt. And I still wanted a bagel.
Yeah, and I don't need to...
And he's not even Jewish.
And I don't even need to
Everybody likes bagels.
Or you don't have to take your day out,
No, but road rage is... Because I worked for 32 years and I drove from from Long Island to Queens and back again, and it got worse year after year. More cars on the road, and road rage is not about what that person did to you in the car. It's about all your other stuff
that
you've been holding in,
yeah,
and that one incident just brings it all to the surface. And you're
Right.
ready to kill this complete stranger
Right.
over maybe the fact that they cut in front of you or whatever.
Didn't use a blinker.
But it really has nothing to do with that person. And
No
and we
doubt.
as a nation, we are overworked. We are just at our wits' end. And with everything that's going on with COVID, we are even more frazzled. We have to realize, where does your anger really come from? Is it coming from the person that cut you off for a second because, like Michael was saying, like they did it by mistake?
Yeah.
Or is it something that is going on in your life that you really haven't dealt with?
Right.
And it's the former.
Right.
You have to deal with your own shit and not take it out on the complete stranger that did one wrong thing.
Right.
You know, you're ready to, like Michael goes, you'll never own a gun, Bonnie, because you'd kill somebody.
That's me too. That's the first person that says you won't shoot me. I'd be like, you kidding? Like, no. That's not good. That's not a good look.
Hi, Dan. Dan Romano is tuning in. How are you?
Before it gets too late, we are gonna switch up. Glenn has.
Arnie, I don't know what you're
what
talking
he's talking
about.
about.
Arnie, we haven't said anything nasty. We applaud you, Arnie. I went to your open mic with Bruce.
Yeah,
and
but
I support you 100%. This is kind of like road rage. Don't take it out on us.
I don't know what you're talking about, Arnie.
We love you. We support you, and hopefully you won't be angry at us.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but we were going to just change it up to actually something great and nice and light. So thank you, Arnie, for changing the subject on us. Glenn has set up what we incorporated into our first episode was a short home video of myself getting interviewed by my dad at 8 years old, which had some humor in it. So now we are going to get an interview of me a little bit younger, because my parents always forced me to be in front of the camera. But go ahead.
So what it is like,
no,
I wanted to bring it in on, like,
okay.
Did either of you guys have imaginary friends as a kid?
I actually did. Mom, the kid around the block, he wasn't real.
I did not have an imaginary friend. Zero.
I talked to my teddy bear, and like I kind of had like I was like myself bouncing stuff off of myself, I guess. But like, we'll listen to Mandy at three years.
Oh, I can't wait to see
3
this.
years old.
I am looking forward to this.
Oh, and John Warner
If this is
just
such
joined.
great
Hey, John.
technology that you are able to do this,
Yeah.
this is freaking fantastic.
Yeah, we're
amazing.
going to be doing this now in our
Hi,
new
Joe
studio,
Guzzy
Bonnie.
Bear Guzman.
For the last 2 months, Mandy's had
Oh,
gotta
you're
put it
so
louder.
cute.
friends. Mandy, what are their names?
Tina Turner, Lonnie, and
What's
Goliath, and Chia.
what about Glass and Cher? What about Donna?
You're so
Yeah,
cute.
Donna and Tina Turner. She talks about them all. Tell us a little bit about Donna.
Donna, I want her.
What does she look like?
She has long hair, curly hair, one pool.
One
two
pool.
things.
To what?
2 things, one pool.
Uh-huh. And what does Tina Turner look like?
She has 10 pools,
10 pools.
10 houses, 10
10
nothing
houses.
on her. That's it. And it's
We're grooming you to do interviews even back then.
Yeah.
They do?
And they all live together. That was my final
I
remark.
love this. That's freaking awesome. Bill Hansen says cutie, of course.
It's so funny that it sounds like the one imaginary friend she lists is Bonnie, though.
Oh.
At one
At the
point,
beginning. We
at
watched
the
this a
beginning,
few
we
times,
watched it,
testing.
and
I didn't even notice that. I'm a little
But
drunk.
then my mom's like, a glass and chair. I'm like, because then me and Glenn were like, this is why we can't have kids, because this creative imaginary play, we'd be like, so tell us more about it. And we'd be like totally
Play into
creating like, psychotic people.
And I had a character that I created, and I used to, and he was very rich, owned a helicopter, smoked a cigar, and my Uncle
I'm
Joe,
learning this about
was
him
his
now.
name?
I never heard this before. This is
his
new.
name was Mr. Judja.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Okay.
And about, how old were you?
I was about 4.
Okay.
And what happened is, I guess I had a little flair for this. The stories got so interesting that they would start to really question me on it. I knew I couldn't sustain it, so I had to kill them off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He had a terrible accident.
He did.
I
He
can't
was-
tell you any
he-
more
his
stories
cigar-
about him.
His cigar fell, He got burned alive in his car.
Oh,
my
classic.
God.
Right next to the grammar school that I was going to at the time.
Honestly, I love Michael, but I pray I never break up with him because I'm seriously afraid if I ever do for my
Because he's been
well-being
killing
and safety.
people off. He killed his imaginary friend off.
Did you have that video of him or no?
What video?
Video of him.
Oh, we didn't know.
That's next time. We ended up getting caught in some sound.
That's okay.
Some
That's
sound
okay.
issues prior.
Yeah, Glenn was playing with our new equipment
We're
here.
still up and coming. You know, we got some new equipment. We got some new stuff.
You
coming.
guys are doing awesome.
Yeah.
You're doing a
And
great
well,
job.
Every
and now
week we'll
Bonnie
have
and I-
something new. Is
and-
the idea. We're gonna keep expanding on this.
Bonnie and I have
Nancy and Weems says, "I like this couple's night." Thank you, Nancy.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. We're definitely
we
gonna
get
have
we
them
get
back.
together off camera too. This is just something we're doing on camera. But we've done it off camera more than a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So because we love each other, we're like family. We have
No,
fights like family.
Yeah.
And we make up like family.
Yeah. It's friends and family are the people you choose.
Right,
It's not just
exactly.
about blood. It's
And
it's
Joe-
not about just blood being thicker than water. There's people that you choose that you're kindred spirits with, and like I've said to Bonnie, you're gonna have to like set me on fire, shoot me while running me over. Like I'm like a parasite.
No,
like,
but
I'm
you
not
know what?
going
You know what?
anywhere.
I realize now that I went through a couple of days of fucking hell, but I hit an epiphany that I can't just bury it. I have to face it
Right.
and move on, and it's for my good.
Right.
That person that hurt me never will realize what they did. I just have to realize that I'm not going to let it control me anymore. And that's what that's through your love of me and just saying, like, being supportive and saying it's going to be okay. We'll get through it. And you took some really abusive shit from me. So did Michael. But I think I've really honestly gotten past it. It's over a year,
Growing
and
experience.
it's time
It's
to
a
move
process.
on.
Well, and that's
It's time to move on.
And that's how like everything works. Like
They say they can't hear you too good, so just put your microphone closer
Michael
to your
yelled
mouth.
to us.
You talk louder.
Yeah, no,
I normally
think
get good
I'm-
phone too.
I
He
just
does.
embrace being awkward and having vulnerable conversations with human beings because that's all we are. So
Well,
I
you
just
two
try
are
to
very
relate and share my experiences and be vulnerable,
No,
and that's all we could do. Like,
You're very like accepting of everybody, both of you, but you're realistic. You call out the bullshit when you see it, and I respect that. And I was not at a place where I was ready to let something go, but after some time has passed and I've gotten some venom out of my system
Right.
by basically almost destroying Michael and you, I think I've gotten to the point where I'm ready to let it go.
Yeah.
I really am, and wish them the best of luck.
yeah.
And God be with them,
Well,
because I'm happy with Michael.
I'm sure they're not watching, but
They're not watching.
I know who she's talking about, and thank you, because I got Bonnie out of this deal.
Well, I know
Thank
that's
you, Michael.
that's the thing. When
I
we
made out like a bandit.
Well,
here.
that's the thing.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, we need to just change our vocabulary about the past because we can't change what happened, but we can change how we feel about it. So when we have a bad experience, the more times we dissect it and the more times we forgive people for their own just bullshit and being just shitty human beings that may not give you the closure you want or may not have done right by you, and you just kind of level everybody up and round everybody up and say, they did that, and like you said, it's for me. I'm gonna forgive
It's
them.
for me.
I
I don't want to fight with anybody. I
It's
don't
for
like
me.
the negative feelings. I'm just going to wish them the best of luck. God bless you. Go on with your lives. I hope you have every happiness.
And if something really horrible happens,
And if
get
you go
cancer,
bald and you die, well, that's just
That's
just part of
God.
it.
That's God's work.
David Lang is saying these are great discussions. Always love the funny stuff, but from the heart stuff is awesome.
Thank you, David. Like, he's someone who's
We're real
recently
people.
been sharing, and he actually posted something about he found great composition notebooks that he loved. And I loved that because he was like, these are compositions that don't have floppy, things. They had a certain number of pages that he wanted, and he's like, I fucking finally found a bunch. And I know me and
Michael's
Michael
the king of
can-
notebooks.
Yeah, we can.
He has
talk
like 3 notebooks on me since we met. and it's only been 9 months.
The
He's got my
different
divorce note.
chapters.
He's got my divorce notebook. He's got my comedy notebook, and then a third notebook.
And then
is
the
like,
private eye, like just license plate
See,
numbers.
that's-
oh yeah.
Locations.
That's makes sense though to divide it because I'm
Well,
someone
yeah.
that I have my
Just
notebooks
very organized that
chronologically,
way.
Like it'll be like some like terrible, like depressing poetry, and then like
A
banana
to-do
bread
list.
recipe and a to-do list, and then like you know what I mean, like it just varies,
That's
and I
so
just have to
funny.
go
And
by
the
like
other
roughly
thing-
when it was.
The other thing I do is, if it's just a single notebook, is a lot of times I flip it over and there's the back, and I
Oh,
start
yeah.
writing from the back to the front because it's usually the opposite stuff.
Oh, I'm so sad that I should have reminded him to bring a notebook that he has on the funny things that I say that are not like
Well,
that I twist. We'll come on at another
This will be
time.
another segment, and we
that's-
still
that's a
have,
whole
we have
nother
another
show.
segment of videos.
Oh, it's
too,
so fucking
we'll-
funny.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, like we were watching The Sopranos together. I'm always drinking when we're together, and he'll go like, if I don't understand what happened in The Sopranos, he'll pause it. I'll go, do you understand this? I'm like,
This is
oh
big.
yes, they put 1 and 1 together, and he just looks at me. And he's like, Bonnie, you mean they put 2 and 2 together? And he's like, yeah. He has a whole book of shit that I say that I fucked up. It's so
This
fucking
seems like
funny.
a segment that
It
has to
is,
come
yeah,
back.
yeah.
This will be next
I-
date night.
Well, back
Definitely.
in the '90s, I think it was called Urbonics. They were the
Oh,
urban.
yes,
All right,
yeah.
so I have now
Ebonics.
a dedicated book of bonbonics.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
calls it bonbonics. It's so freaking funny. When he actually, when we talk on the phone, he'll put my own words up, and I start laughing my fucking ass off because I said them. He recorded them. Sometimes we're driving home,
And I can't write them down.
and he can't write them down.
Voice
So he
memo.
goes, text me to my own phone
What you just
what you
said.
just said, and then he will add them to his book. And he has, I think, 2 pages of them right now.
There's
2
probably
pages.
there's less than
page
than
and a
20,
half.
but spend a little time
It's
with
so
her. We'll
frickin'
fill it out
funny.
quick.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do that. We're going to do another date night with you guys. It went so fast. We only have 3 minutes left.
So why don't you talk about your upcoming event?
Well, our upcoming event, Calamity Jones, is going to be on August 29th. That's a Saturday. It's a free show in Suffolk County, New York, a free comedy show.
And free booze.
And it's in a free open bar. That's in Nesconset. The only stipulation is you have to be added to the guest list. So just direct message myself via Instagram or via Facebook. Mandy Jones the comedian. That's me on Instagram. That's me on YouTube. And also follow calamity.jones on Instagram. That's how you find all the different things we promo on this show, all the different events that we host, just everything that we're up to. That's how you stay in the conversation.
And it's a collaborative thing. We're trying to find out what you guys do that, makes you happy or,
It's
takes
a
your
positive
creative end.
thing.
Right.
And we
We're
wanna
not pitting
support
each
it.
other
We wanna,
against each other.
Like we brought up at the beginning of the show, our logo was drawn by my friend Zach Decker. He's a tattoo artist. He's an artist. He's a graphic designer. We're
spreading the
trying
love.
to collaborate on anything we possibly can. If you make videos. I was saying, I don't know, you make something out of Q-tips.
Odd sculptures, anything
Anything,
that's different. That's what we want to talk about.
And Mandy and I will be back on Wednesday nights at 7:30 on our Facebook pages. Just look for us on our Facebook pages. Look up. We're friends with. You're friends with her. Same time, 7:30 to 8:30. Three's Company, and just look us up on Facebook.
Yeah,
If you enjoyed today's show.
And honestly, we're going to be having guests on both the Calamity Jones Hour and Three's Company radio show now.
Yes.
So please,
And if you're interested in
message
being
us
a
if
guest,
you want to be a
please
guest.
messenger us. We had some people on our list before the virus struck, and I will be reaching out to them to see if they get first dibs. But we understand if you don't want to venture out of your home and the safety of your home or whatever. But if you're willing to do that, we'll give you the first dibs, and then anybody else who wants to be a guest on our show, we'll be happy to have you.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And we'll, in the coming weeks, we're adding a phone line. There'll be a Calamity Jones phone number. You want to call and leave a voicemail and say something funny, or you want to call in during a live show. We just want to collaborate.
And
so.
Dan Romano saying, "Glenn, you sexy beast."
Oh,
and people are
Dan is
laughing
always-
at it.
Dan
I
is
know
always
Dan is
after
always
me.
pouncing on
Dan
Glenn.
is really funny, and thank you, Dan, for putting me in your last show. I really enjoyed myself, and I'm so sorry I took Christopher Brian Roach's phone by mistake, and Michael ran it back to him. I'm like, whose phone is this?
That's in comedy history now, though.
It's so fucking funny, but I didn't. Again, it's something I did not do on purpose. I don't even know how it ended up in my bag. I'm like, this is not my phone. And then I saw John Butera's name was on the phone. I'm like, I think this phone belongs to John Butera. And I said, Michael, could you just go to the next spot where I just was and find out whose phone this was? And belonged to Christopher Brian Roach. But thank you, Dan, for giving me that opportunity. I had a great time.
Roach's phone.
to by mistake pick it up, but
we did. We had a blast.
Yeah, we really did. Yeah, because it was a fun thing, and we got to do our comedy. I did it 4 times in a row because I did the 3 different spots, and then I had my open mic at Coasters, so I did it 4 times in a row.
Nice.
And it was I had fun.
Yeah.
That's why I do this, to have fun. And if I'm not having fun anymore, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for coming over.
Thank you, Mandy and
official
Glenn, for
guest.
having us as your first official guest.
Thank you, everyone.
You guys
for
are going to be
tuning in.
super fucking successful because you're positive and you're on your way up.
Yes, yeah. We don't believe in new, tearing people down. And like Glenn said, we're just inventing new ways to keep you guys on your toes and entertained. Going nowhere but up. And Bill Hansen, Robin DeVito, Dan Romano, David Lang, everyone that hung tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And share it.
Please share the show. Please share the show. Share. After it's over, if you don't know how, like me, because you're technologically issued.
So thank you guys. Come to the Calamity,
thank you, Michael.
Jones page. Thank you for our guests. We love you guys. Come next week, next Wednesday, next Friday.
Bye.
Woo.
All right, mics are muted.
Good.
I have to pee. Joan Kubriasha goes, love this show.
Good.
Because we told the fucking truth on this show.
Hey.